class. Yasmina, please log out. It's a finance class. Everyone, please turn on your video. Now in the video mode. Tanas, Shaila, Vishakha, Pradnya, Saraswati, Sushmita, Tejaswini. Vishnu, Ashwini, come in the video mode. Shaila, Pradnya, Murali. Akshata. Priyanka. I am using a mic, Akshata. Am I not audible?
No, sir, you're audible.
Akshata, check the volume of your mobile. Okay, guys, there are around, I guess, how many? Yeah, 17 people have joined so far. I want everyone to be in the video mode so that I understand if you're really there. Okay, another 1 minute and then you can off your video, not an issue at all. Okay, Pradnya, please come in the video mode. Shaila, Vishnu. Vishnu, please come in the video mode. Okay, Shaila, come in the video mode. Guys, why is the strength so less today? Or they are joining slowly? Rohit, come in the video mode. Okay, without further delays, I guess around 16 students have joined. Rohit has left. Why people are leaving? Did I ask anyone to leave by mistake? Okay, fair enough. Whatever it is. Okay, whatever whoever has attended will get the attendance. Whoever has not attended will not get an attendance. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Fine. Before starting, I hope you remember that in between I had given you a small task to go to a bank and collect some details. Anyone who has done it, or you took the warning seriously? Is it? You did not take the task seriously, but you took the warning seriously. Like if it is not if it is safe, I had said that, I remember. So you took that seriously. So you have assumed that it is not safe, so nobody is going to go to the bank now, right? Or anyone who has gone to the bank and collected these details? No one? Okay, great, great. Good that you listen to the instructions carefully. Okay, most of you should be advocates, in fact, not MBAs. You know what is been told and you read between the lines. Good. Okay, fine, fair enough. I'll just share the screen now. Okay, we'll be starting with the last part of the technologies that we were dealing with in the previous class, if you remember. Okay, is the screen visible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Full screen? Can you see the full screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Fine. So, if you remember in the previous class, we started with electronic payment system. No, sorry, we did complete that, I guess. Here is also complete.
Check transactions, sir.
Check.
Truncation.
Yeah. Electronic check is completed. I guess we have completed ECS also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Only this part.
We have completed this?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yesterday you have completed.
Okay. Is everybody clear with this part? I'll just stop here for 2 minutes. Just go through it, and if you're clear with this, then I'll go to the next slide. If you're clear, please give a thumbs up quickly so that I can go with the next slide. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so basically ECS is a system where you can transfer money from one account to another account electronically. Okay, there are two types of systems that we talk about, the credit system and the debit system. Credit system is used for dividend payments and salary payment from one account to many accounts. Okay, if you're doing it from one account and transferring money to many accounts, several accounts, then you call it as the credit system, ECS credit system. Whereas from several accounts, it has to come to one account for especially EMIs or SIPs, payment of certain bills, then we call it as ECS debit system, okay, where the account gets credited to only one account, okay. So that is what ECS debit system talks about, okay. Then advantages to the users. What are the advantages of ECS to the users? Anyone? Advantages of ECS to the users. Quickly, guys. I have to complete the module today. I cannot keep on pushing it now. Anyone?
Time saving, sir.
Yes, it is time saving. Yes. First of all, can you tell me who are these users? Because I have
The institutions.
yes, yes, very nice.
Yes, sir. Institutions.
Institutions or organizations, right?
Yes, sir.
Organizations, yes. So they may be the organizations like KLE is one of the organization who needs to make payments of salary every month. Okay, so it may use ECS system where it just gives a check of the whole amount to the bank, and the bank automatically transfers money to different accounts, different faculties account and the staff accounts basically. Okay, so user becomes your organization or institutions. Okay, so basically what are the uses to this? Okay, one thing is, yes, a lot of time is saved because you need not keep on giving details of everything and keep on transferring one by one. It goes in one shot, right? For the banks also, it is very easy to monitor the accounts because the only one payment comes and only one receipt of check, and the payments are done to various accounts which are almost fixed. Okay, so for banks also it becomes very easy. Okay, they need not handle any cash. Okay, then no handling of physical checks because they don't give checks to each and every person, it's electronically transferred, so no handling, physical handling of checks. Okay, so all these things are users to the banks. Customers, obviously they need not go to the banks now and then to maybe deposit the check, collect the check whether the amount has been deposited or no, everything. All these things are avoided using the ECS system. Okay, so it's a beneficial system for all, whether it is the users, that is the institutions or the organizations, to make the payments or for receipts. For banks, because paperwork is reduced. For customers, because their visits are reduced, they did not visit to the bank now and then. Okay, so that is how the ECS system is advantageous. Okay, so it is electronic clearing services. Then we go on to the electronic fund transfer. Okay, so basically again, like ECS itself, it's similar to ECS. Here also we transfer funds electronically through use of computer systems. Okay, from one account to another account, funds are transferred using a computer system. Now computers or laptops or mobiles, whatever you call it as. Okay, so that is what EFT talks about, that is electronic fund transfer, and can be used by any individuals. Okay, for example, you do not have internet banking, you do not have mobile banking, can you do EFT transactions? Yes, you can do EFT transactions. You have to go to the branch, okay, and fill that EFT form and fill the details, pay the cash, and the amount is transferred to the desired account. Okay, so yes, EFT can be used by any individuals. Okay, next is features: quick movement of funds from one account to another. Okay, no intermediations. There is no question of intermediation because the fund is transferred from one account to another account. There is only one clearing house, the virtual clearing house, which is there from the RBI. Otherwise, there is no intermediation at all. Okay, so directly amounts are transferred, so no intermediates, and there is protection and security of your payments. Okay, because you're doing it through your, let's say you're using an internet banking, so there's a lot of security where you put in your user name, ID and passwords, then you give the transaction password, you receive an OTP on your registered mobile, you put that OTP, and then only the amount is transferred. Okay, so there is a lot of protection and security in case of your EFT transactions. Okay, so these are the features of EFT, that is quick movement, no intermediation, and protection and security. Okay, is it clear to everyone, guys? I guess I am going a bit fast because very much general in nature. Are you understanding, everyone? Yes, no, guys? Yeah, if yes, give a thumbs up quickly. Okay, great. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, that is types of EFTs, various types of EFTs. One is the credit transfers. Okay, that is facilitates payments of various bills. Okay, you want to make the payments of various bills, so it can be done through electronic manner. Okay, electronic fund transfer, whether you want to make a telephone payment of telephone bills or your DTH services bills or your electricity bills, any bills can be transferred electronically now, that is credit transfer. Okay, debit transfer, basically quite similar, but the parties are different over here. Okay, whereas see, credit transfers, as I normally said, okay, it's used in salaries. Okay, when we studied the ECS, I said there was two systems, the credit system and the debit system. Credit system is used for salary payment, whereas debit system is used for bill payment, right? Receipt of the bills to one account, right? So the same thing happens in EFTs also. You can use it for credit transfers, where you want to make salaries to different accounts. You directly do it through electronically. You transfer the funds to various accounts. Whereas debit is you collect funds from various accounts, for bill payment, bill receipts, or anything, any other purpose. Like BSNL will collect all the bills through electronic manner. Okay, so that is debit transfer. So the account goes to only one account. Then low value funds is the value of funds are very low and it happens at the end of the day. The settlement happens at the end of the day. We call it as EOD. Okay, here there also electronic fund transfer is used. Then we have high value funds. High value funds are the value of the funds is a bit higher, okay, compared to the low value funds. Okay, here the settlement happens on the real time basis. It's not at the end of the day, but happens immediately. That is what high value fund transfers are. And ATM transfers, if you are aware of, you can transfer money from the ATM also. Okay, so you can using the automated teller machines, you can transfer funds from one account to another account. So that also is a part of EFTs, that is electronic fund transfer. Then EFTs at POS, it is electronic fund transfer at point of sale. POS represents point of sale. Okay, so whether you're using a debit card or a credit card or a NEFT, okay, you use the fund transfer for making payments for the goods or services that you have purchased. Okay, that is EFT at POS. And check truncation. So when we studied the check truncation, we said that initially it was physical, now it has become online, right? It's become electronic now. So EFT again is used in check truncation. So these are the various types of EFTs, or these are the various avenues where EFT is used, you can say. Okay, so are you clear with all these transactions, all these types of EFTs? Any doubts in any of these
So,
EFTs? Yes.
so what is exactly the point of sale, sir?
Point of sale means basically, okay, I'll tell you. You visit Amazon, okay, you purchase something, okay, and you immediately make a payment. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So you're
Yes,
making
sir.
a payment at the point of sale. Sales
Okay,
happen
sir.
and you're immediately making a payment. That is called as point of sale. Or you go to a shop,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yes.
and when you purchase something, you immediately give a credit card or a debit card. That is swipe. That is point of
Oh,
sale.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, or sometimes
Yes, sir.
nowadays you use UPIs. You scan the barcode and you make the payments
Okay,
immediately.
sir.
That is called as point of sale.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope you're clear with all these points: credit transfers, debit transfers, low value funds, high value funds transfer, ATM transfers, EFT at POS, and check truncation. So all these are the various facilities where electronic fund transfers is used. Okay, that is transferring of funds from one account to another account electronically. Okay, next is how does it work? How does EFT work? Okay, so understand one thing. I'll just give you a simple example here. Okay, there is one customer who wants to send money. So either he sends money, he has instruments of payment, like he uses a credit card or a debit card, or he uses his net banking or mobile banking, whatever he might be using. Okay, so he is a sender. What he does, the order of payment is sent. Order of payment is sent to his bank. Suppose I am a sender. I want to send money to, let's say, Dhanashri. Okay, I want to send 10,000 rupees to Dhanashri. So I become a sender and Dhanashri becomes a receiver. That is customer B. Okay, so what happens? I, as a sender, I send an order of payment to my bank. That is, let's say Canara Bank is my bank. I send an order of payment to bank A, that is Canara Bank. Bank A sends an order of transfer. Now here we have something called as a payment system, which is a gateway. Okay. Now here, basically this has been controlled by the central bank. In our case, it is the RBI which controls this. So this is the payment gateway where all the accounts are held. So it goes, the order of transfer goes to the payment systems. From the system, the transfer goes to, the amount is transferred to bank B, that is the receiver's bank. Let's say Dhanashri's bank is ICICI, so it goes to ICICI bank, and from ICICI bank it goes to the receiver, that is Dhanashri in this case. Okay, so this is how the EFT works. Okay, and all these things happen electronically. You send money, bank sends it to the payment system. Okay, where all the accounts are held. There is a payment gateway over here, okay, and then from the payment gateway it goes to the respective bank for necessary payments to the receiver. Okay, so this is how it works. So similarly, if you see your bank A, bank B, bank C, D, E, F, all these are connected to each other through a electronic payment system, okay, through this gateway. Am I clear? Are you clear with the working of EFT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's take the advantages of EFT. It's not ETF by mistake. It's EFT. Okay. Uh, First is paperless. Obviously, there's no paper involved in this. You can transfer money from one account to another account electronically. There is no paper involved. Okay. Second is no postal delays. Yes, it happens electronically, so you need not send a check by post or courier or something, and then they receive it, and then the clearing happens. All these delays are avoided. There are no postal delays, no physical movement of any instruments, okay, like DDs or checks, or your uh, banker's draft. All these things are involve physical movement. You have to remove, you have to take out a draft, send it by post or something, then that instrument is physically moving from one hand to another hand, which is avoided, which is not there in EFTs. Okay, so there is no physical movement of any instrument in EFTs. Then problems of reconciliation is avoided, okay, because it is transferred from one account to another. So reconciliation of account doesn't happen because it happens immediately. Okay, if you those who are BCom students or those who have done accounting for a long time, you had something called as bank reconciliation statement. Do you remember this BRS?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there it was, you deposit a check, but the check was credited in the next month, so there is a difference in the balance according to your cash book and the passbook. There it comes a difference, so that difference is rectified. That is called as reconciliation. Okay, so that problem does not arise in case of EFTs because it happens immediately, and no fraud at all. Okay, like check deposited in somebody else's account and all those things doesn't happen at all. Okay, or wrongly withdrawn checks. Sometimes account pay checks are withdrawn by the bank employees directly by making it a on the counter payment, okay, open check. So all these frauds are avoided because there is no physical moment of any instrument, there is no physical moment of cash, it's paperless, so frauds can be avoided. Okay, so these are the advantages of ETFs. I hope you're clear with all the advantages of ETF. Understanding this? Any doubts in any of the points, any of these 5 points that I discussed? Any doubts? Yes, no,
No, sir.
no?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Because I know I'm going a bit fast today because most of the things we have already discussed in length in the previous sessions. Okay, I'm just going to talk about the different technologies. Okay, we have spoken about ECS, EFTs is same as ECS. Okay, so you know what it is. Let's move on to the next part, that is NEFT. Most of you have used it many a times, which is National Electronic Fund Transfer. Okay, that is transferring money from one account to another electronically. Okay, what are the features? Amount can be transferred in decimals. Okay, you can transfer any amount like 100 rupees 50 paisa, 100 rupees 25 paisa, 100 rupees 49 paisa, and all those things can be done in a NEFT. So it runs into decimals, not a problem, and there's no upper limit for NEFT. You can transfer any amount you want. Okay, there is no upper limit for NEFTs. That is the main feature of NEFT. Okay, well, how does the process goes here? Now this is very important here, please pay attention. Okay, so we have something called as the uh, you, that is you're a customer, you want to transfer money to this beneficiary. Okay, so what do? You go to the bank and go on to your online bank account, provide beneficiary details, name, account number, IFSC code, and amount to transfer, etc., and initiate the NEFT transfer, right? So this is what you do. You go to your bank account, your net banking. Okay, you log in, you go to NEFT, and you put in the beneficiary details, whether name, the account number, okay, IFSC code, amount to be transferred, etc. Then that goes to the bank, okay, that goes to the bank. What does the bank do? Bank sends a transfer message with the beneficiary details to NEFT service cell. So there is something called as NEFT service center. Okay, so this NEFT service center, what it does, it sends a service center sends message to clearance center. Okay, now this is under the RBI. This is very important. This is governed by the RBI. It is called as the National Clearing Cell. Okay, this is the National Clearing Cell which takes care of your NEFT transactions. Okay, so the NEFT service center sends the request to the National Clearance Cell, okay, under the RBI. The clearance center creates debit entry from remitting bank, creates credit entry for beneficiary bank, sends beneficiary bank the IFSC and account details, and sends a response to request to beneficiary bank. Okay, that is what it does. Okay, so basically creates debit entry for remitting bank. So this is a debiting bank, so it makes a debit entry for it because the amount has to be deducted. Whereas for beneficiary bank, it makes a credit entry because the amount has to be deposited in bank or transferred to this particular bank. Okay, then sends beneficiary bank the IFSC and account details. So all the account details of this beneficiary is sent to this beneficiary bank. Okay, and then sends a response request to beneficiary banks. Okay, then what happens when the beneficiary banks then bank transfer money to the beneficiary account and informs clearance center. So once this transfer is done, it sends a communication to the clearance center, that sends it to the NEFT, sends it to the bank, and you get a response that payment is successful. Okay, so all these things happen. This is called as your NEFT process. Are you clear with this NEFT process, which involves around 6 parties? That is the sender, the remitting branch, NEFT service center, the National Clearance Cell under the RBI, then the beneficiary bank, and the beneficiary. Are you clear with this entire process of NEFT? Any doubt? Is there any doubt in any of these steps, these 6 steps? Are you all clear with this? Okay, great. Okay, so let's move on to the last part of today's session, or last part of this module, that is RTGS. Okay, similar to NEFT, this is called as real-time gross settlement. Okay, now what is real-time gross settlement is? The settlement happen on a gross basis and real-time basis. That is, you transfer the money, immediately it is deposited into the beneficiary's account. Whereas in NEFT, it is net. Okay, it is net settlement. Here it is gross settlement. Okay, so NEFT takes a bit of time for settlement to happen. Okay, whereas RTGS happens on a real-time basis. You click a button, the amount is directly transferred to the beneficiary's account. Okay, so that is what RTGS is. So transfer on real-time basis, on gross basis, settled individually. Okay, in NEFT, what happens is all the transactions related to a particular bank are collected by the clearance cell. Then debit and credit is done, and whatever amount is to be paid to a respective bank is settled. Okay, so it happens in group, it does not happen individually. Whereas when it comes to RTGS, it is individual. Okay, you send the amount and that amount is directly debited irrespective of other transactions. Okay, so in NEFT, all the transactions of the day are considered and net settlement is done. Whereas in case of RTGS, individual settlements of all the accounts are done, okay, on a real-time gross basis. Then there is a minimum limit for transfer of funds through RTGS. Okay, whereas NEFT doesn't have any minimum limit, but RTGS has a minimum limit to be transferred. Okay, now let's understand the advantages. Later I'll go with the differences between RTGS, then NEFT and IMPS, so that you are more clear with these systems. Okay, so advantages is certainty of payment. Yes, once you initiate the payment, you're certain that the beneficiary is going to receive it. Okay, there is no question of that. Then faster collection, immediately the amount is collected by the beneficiary. No settlement risk because it's settled individually. So from your account, it goes to the beneficiary account. So no settlement risk at all. Then improved liquidity management, since the amount is transferred immediately, banks have liquidity. Banks are insured with proper liquidity. Okay, so liquidity management and less frauds and processing fees. The processing fees in RTGS is less, or sometimes it is nil. Okay, so and there are less frauds also, as we have said it in, as we have discussed in NEFT, where there are no where you have to use your user IDs and your passwords and your transaction passwords and the OTPs and all those things. Okay, so chances of frauds are very less in case of RTGS also. So these are the advantages of RTGS, that is real time gross settlements. Are you clear with the entire process of RTGS? Understanding RTGS? It's similar to NEFT. Only thing is the limits, the time of settlement is different. But again, both the things, in both the cases, funds are transferred from one account to another account electronically. So that remains the same. So are you clear with what is RTGS? Real time gross settlement. Okay, let's move on to the differences. Now this is where it makes it becomes very clear for you to understand. Okay, so the difference between NEFT, RTGS and IMPS is the minimum transfer value is you can transfer from 1 rupee to any amount. Okay, no limit at all. For RTGS, the minimum is 2 lakh. You cannot transfer money below 2 lakh. The minimum transfer amount should be 2 lakh. And so it is normally RTGS is used by businesses to transfer huge sum of amount, okay, not small amounts. Okay, IMPS also you can transfer a minimum of 1 rupee. Payment options, it's online, offline. NEFT can be done online, offline by filling the form which is available in the branches. Okay, you can go fill the form and do the transfer. So online, offline both is available. In case of RTGS also, both the facilities are available. You can do it online through your internet banking, or you can do it offline by going to the respective branches or banks and filling the NEFT forms and RTGS forms and settling and transferring the money. Okay, whereas in case of IMPS, only online facilities available. You cannot do IMPS offline. You cannot go to the bank and do IMPS. Then maximum transfer amount, as we have already discussed, for NEFT there is no limit at all. RTGS also there is no maximum limit, whereas in case of IMPS you can at the maximum you can transfer 2 lakh rupees. You cannot transfer more than 2 lakh rupees in case of IMPS. Next one is settlement type. Okay, if you see NEFT, it is half hourly basis. That is, your amount would be settled within half an hour. Okay, so there is a time delay that happens in NEFT. So it is not settled immediately. So half an hour basis, whereas RTGS and IMPS happens on a real time basis. It goes from this account immediately, it is credited to the other account. Then service timings, you can do NEFT between 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. working days, except second and fourth Saturday because it's a holiday. So you can do NEFT anytime between 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. only on working days. Whereas RTGS also, it is from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is not 7 p.m. here, it is 6 p.m. for RTGS. Whereas IMPS, you can do it anytime you want. Okay, 24/7, 365 days, you can do IMPS. Okay, then inward transaction charges, no charges for NEFT, no charges for RTGS, though there are charges. In the next slide it is more in the difference is given in more detail, you'll come to know, but very minimum charges. Whereas in case of IMPS, it is decided by the banks. There are charges for IMPS and it is decided by the respective banks. So let's understand this in detail. Okay, see here, settlement type, we have known this. Okay, minimum limit is also known. Maximum limit, if you see, no limit. However, for NEFT, however, maximum amount per transaction is limited to 50,000 for cash-based remittance within India and to Nepal under the Indo-Nepal remittance facility. So you cannot make a cash transaction, cash NEFT offline, okay, cash NEFT of amount more than 50,000. Okay, so there is a limit there. For RTGS, there is no limit. For IMPS, as we said, it is 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so service timings, if you see, as we have said, it is 8 to 7 p.m. working days. Okay, unavailable on Sunday and bank holidays. Operates in 23-hour half half hourly settlement batches. Okay, so it happens half hourly basis, whereas this is available on from 8 to 6 and so on. Okay, now if you see the transaction for NEFT, there is no transaction at all, whereas for RTGS, if you see, no charges for inward transaction charges applicable for outward transactions for amount. Okay, for outward transaction you want to transfer, you will be charged. For inward there is no charges at all. Okay, so from 2 lakh to 5 lakh, okay, it should be maximum 25 rupees 25, not exceeding 25 rupees. Above 5 lakh, not exceeding 50 rupees. So and GST is applicable, so you the charges are up 25 rupees and 50 rupees respectively for 2 to 5 and 5 lakh and above, and plus GST. Whereas charges for IMPS, it depends on the bank. Okay, payment options we have already studied. It's online, offline, online, offline. Whereas IMPS can be done only through online. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this particular unit, that is commercial banking and banking technology. So if there are any doubts, feel free to ask those doubts. Okay, I'll stop here for another 2-3 minutes because yeah, we are left with 3 minutes, so I can stop for another 3 minutes. If there are any doubts in any of the technologies, if any doubts about commercial banking, you are free to ask. Okay, what is IMPS, guys? What is IMPS? Anyone? What is IMPS?
So immediate payment system.
Yes, immediate payment service. IMPS is immediate payment service. Okay, great. So are you all clear with all the things that we dealt in the module 2? We first started with commercial banks, types of commercial banks, the various details of commercial banks we studied. We studied foreign banks, we studied the cooperatives, we studied the regional rural banks. Then we went on for the technologies where we studied ATMs and NEFTs, EFTs, ECS, then MICR, check truncation, then coming to NEFT and RTGS and IMPS. Are you all clear with all these technologies that we are using? If yes, give a thumbs up so that I can stop the class. If there are any doubts, you can unmute yourself and ask that doubt. Okay, I see only 2-3 thumbs up, so that only those have understood, I guess. Others have not understood, is it? Okay, fine, fair enough. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the second module. Okay, so in the next class, okay, basically we are done with banking now. Okay, if you see, the subject is banking and financial services. So banking portion is completed. There are 2 modules on banking, and the other 4 modules are related to financial services now. So from the next class, we'll be starting with financial services. Okay, so I hope you are clear with what is banking, everything about banking, including your RBIs, your commercial banks. Okay, the various technologies used, we have discussed in length. Okay, so I hope you're clear with all these things. Okay, we are left with less than a minute, so I'll be stopping the meeting now. Okay, thank you and have a good day.
Sir, do we have afternoon classes?
No, after 12:55 you don't have any classes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now also I doubt you have whether you have classes, because MB Patil sir is not there. Okay, and there is no adjustment done, so I guess after this class there will be no class at all.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.